Actually, 5 minutes for any comments.
Let me race through this then. Thank you, Chair and Ranking Member, for holding this hearing. And today's hearing focuses on the implementation of the Buy America policy. And I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today and for all your efforts to create jobs and strengthen the U.S. manufacturing sector. The subcommittee has jurisdiction over several agencies that have decades of experience implementing Buy America policies. The Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration both were directed by Congress in the 70s and 80s to enforce domestic content requirements on projects that use federal funds. Since their enactment, these requirements have been updated to respond to various issues facing the U.S. economy. Broadly speaking, current Buy America policies ensure that federally funded transit, rail, and road transportation projects cannot be built unless the iron, steel, manufactured products, and certain construction materials used in those projects are produced in the U.S. The intent of these policies is to maximize the economic value of federal infrastructure investments in the U.S. and ensure taxpayer dollars benefit our workers and companies. Under the leadership of this administration, Democrats are taking a proactive and strategic approach to create jobs and strengthen the U.S. industrial base. The bipartisan infrastructure law delivered historic investments to upgrade the nation's infrastructure and expanded domestic procurement policies through the Build America, Buy America Act provisions in the BIL. The law expanded Buy America coverage to all federally funded infrastructure projects, including those that had previously been exempt. And by requiring the use of products and materials made in the U.S., the Build America, Buy America provisions have helped stimulate private sector investment in domestic manufacturing, bolster critical supply chains, and support the creation of good jobs so that America's workers and industries can compete and lead globally. Since the Biden administration took office, the economy has added nearly 800,000 manufacturing jobs, and real manufacturing construction spending in the U.S. has doubled since the enactment of the bipartisan infrastructure law. And this surge comes from the trio of policy achievements enacted in the last Congress: the BIL, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the CHIPS and Science Act. These laws expanded Buy America provisions and provided dedicated funding and incentives to encourage private investment in our economy. This public spending has not crowded out private spending. Real private spending on transportation construction has grown by nearly 14% since the President signed the BIL. Following the enactment, this administration has faced several competing priorities, including getting this historic funding out quickly and efficiently, an issue this full committee has analyzed and will continue to analyze, while applying new and expanded domestic content requirements to infrastructure projects. The administration has made clear that it has a commitment to Buy America and enforcing these requirements as soon as practically possible. Additionally, the Biden administration is committed to using waivers from Buy America in a limited and strategic manner. In the past, broad and permanent waivers have diluted the potential benefits of Buy America policies, and a lack of targeted waivers, even when warranted, delayed critical infrastructure projects. Waivers, when issued appropriately, are a tool to signal where gaps exist in the domestic supply chain or allow time for compliance with stronger Buy America standards. Temporary and targeted waivers send clear market signals, allowing for a phase-in of domestic procurement preferences, which create an incentive for firms to invest in the U.S. and create good jobs in our communities. For example, EV chargers were previously largely exempt from Buy America under a 1983 general waiver for manufactured products. Although not required to do so by law, the administration extended Buy America coverage to EV chargers under a phased-in implementation plan to give private sector companies in the U.S. time to adjust their supply chains. This policy, which will be fully in effect in July, is already spurring hundreds of millions of dollars of factory investments and jobs for domestic EV charger production. Failed attempts to repeal this standard would have resulted in EV chargers again being exempt from Buy America, resulting in taxpayer dollars going to overseas companies. So I'm pleased the President had vetoed this bad idea and instead honored his commitment to our workers and manufacturers. And yet I do continue to welcome the opportunity to celebrate our infrastructure benefits that each of our districts and constituents are reaping because of the BIL. The committee continues to delivering bipartisan solutions for all Americans, and Buy America continues to enjoy broad bipartisan support. I look forward to today's discussion. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields.
Just under a minute.